Hey guys, it's Monica at Academic Phoenix Plus, and today we are going to finish our UV mapping. We have already completed a desk, and this time we are going to UV map the assets. All right, so again, you guys can download this assets at academicphoenixplus.com. Okay, the assets. So this is a hard surface. I'm going to automatic map. Oh boy, so this is a problem because everything's kind of crooked, right? Um, and the reason why is because the picture is crooked. So I'm going to have to UV map this myself. I'm definitely not going to texture something that's crooked. It's going to be impossible or extremely difficult for me when I can just UV map it myself. So what I'm going to do is make a selection. And I'm going to focus on the front first. I'm going to deselect that. And I'm going to face it directly like this. I'm going to go to UVs, planar mapping, options, and I am going to choose camera and make sure that the keep image with height ratio is on and project. So what it's going to do is that it's going to project based on the camera. Once I have that, I'm going to move it aside. All right, so this is a little bit more complicated than the desk, but that's okay. If I click on this, you're going to notice that it's purple. And the reason why is because the front, which is correct, is blue, and the back is red, which tells me that the UVs are facing the wrong way, and you're going to get unpredictable results. So I need to do a couple of things to make this work better. So one of them is called cut. So what I need to do is actually cut the edges, because right now everything's connected. If I try to select a face and I try to move it, they're attached. So I need to do what's called cut. So select the edges, and I'm going to cut right here, cut. And now when I select the face, I can move it aside. There you go. So this is the front of the frame. This is the back. To fix the red, we need to go to transform, scroll down, and you're going to go to flip. Now it's blue, so that means that it's facing the correct way. Now I also know, whoops, in here that there's a little bit of a dent, so I'm just going to click on this and just going to bring it in. Take a look at the UVs, and I think that's going to work. Now, this is still a little crooked, so what I can do is grab some UVs, and there's an align button here. So I'm going to select the align and select the bottom one here, and it's going to make it even. So I wanted to make it as even as possible. So I'm going to click on that, down, up. I already did it. Whoops, wasn't paying attention. Click on this. This is going to be the right side. Click on this. This is going to be the left side. And if you want to, you can do the same thing in the inside. So again, you can grab this. Whoops, you want to grab the UVs. Right click UVs, select the UVs. Maybe Q, so you don't see it, so you can actually make selections. And I want to straighten this up at the top. Grab these two UVs and straighten it up. Do the same for this one, and then this one. Okay, great. All right, so let's see. There's still some red here, so I'm pretty sure the problem is here. So I'm gonna probably grab these faces and scale down a little bit. Oops, missed a couple of faces. There you go. There you go. So sometimes you need to refresh it. All right. Now, same story, you can go ahead and go through and start snapping these together. So again, I'm going to just align them so that when I sew them together, it's going to align great and it's not going to skew my hard-working UVs. So select those UVs, up, and of course you want to probably align the sides as well. Since you're making the effort, you might as well go ahead and do that as well. So I'm going to do that. Now UVing can be a little bit tedious, so just be patient with yourself. It is something that you really can't get away from. So just make sure that you are aware that every single 3D model has UVs, and that's how the textures fall into place. So just keep that in mind. Put on some nice music, relax, and just kind of go with it. It's a little tedious, like I mentioned, but very, very important. All right, the back. So this area needs some love too. I can try automatic mapping, Again, it's going to skew everything, but I might be able to move and sew and stuff like that and see if I can do something with this. So under cut and sew, there's a sew button. Yikes, that's not good. What happens if I click on this one? Stitch together. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's better. Stitch together. Those are together. Let's get this one stitched together. It's not nowhere near perfect. It's actually a mess. So now I gotta go clean it up. I guess we'll try the aligning again. Grab these guys. Actually, we'll grab we'll grab the whole row here, and then we'll click on this so they can align. Whoops, why did that get selected? Interesting. Align. Grab these guys here. Align to the top. Oops, did a little overlapping there. That's okay. Align to the top. All right. Take a look at the grid. Let's focus in here. So it's not too bad. There's a little issues along the edges here. We can double click on this and we can try unfold. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. We can do it ourselves and try to see if we can figure out how to remove such a dramatic skew. So I'm going to select these edges. Actually, I need to select UVs, so let's grab the UVs because that's what we're trying to manipulate here. And I could try stretching it out myself. That's going to be problematic. I'm just kind of playing around trying to see what works without ruining my UVs. All right, so it's a little skewed. I can try the, oh boy. I can try the unfold tool, and you need to go into faces here and just kind of, ooh, doesn't like it. Cannot find procedure unfold. That's weird. Let's see, modify unfold options. Edit, reset settings. So I'm getting an error. I'm not sure why. I would have to do some research on it, but anyway, just keep moving forward. I think for now this is going to work. So let's go ahead and put it all into 0 to 1 space. So let's go to object mode. We are going to try we're going to try the layout. Click on layout. It's going to squeeze everything into the 0 to 1 space. Now I want this to be facing the correct way. So double click and I'm going to start rotating it. This is under transform. Let's go ahead and rotate. Oops, wrong way. Go the other way. There you go. That's facing the correct way. Now this should have the biggest information because that's where the photo is going to be. So we're going to make it big. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Double click. I'm going to flip it and I'm going to scale it down and bring it in. Again, I'm trying to put everything in the 0 to 1 space. This is the back. No one's really going to see too much of the back, and that should do it. Now you may be asking why I didn't sew these together. I probably should. I want to make sure they're about the same scale. And I'd like to sew from the top, so collapse all of this. I'm going to sew together. I'm going to double click and move this down. So now they're sewn together, so I don't have to worry about too much of the seams. And again, this one's just not as important, so it's not going to get as much UV space. And that should be good enough. All right, cool. So again, edit, delete by type history. I think modify freeze transformations just for the heck of it. And let's move on to the laptop. All right, so UVs, automatic mapping. Again, this is hard surface. It's not perfect, but the grid looks okay. Let's start sewing. I'm going to go a little faster now. Hopefully you guys kind of got the idea. I'm going to sew this. I can stitch together. This is the bottom. Gonna stitch together again. This is the bottom of the laptop, so stitch together. And this is all the way to there, so I don't want to mess around with that. Let's go ahead and stitch together this one as well. I'm going to double click on this and move it aside because I'm trying to figure out what this is. This must be the back. Okay. So I'm looking for this. There it is. Stitch together. So now the whole laptop is stitched together. So this is important because this is going to be where the keyboard is and this is the screen. So I need to remember, I need to keep in mind on that. I am going to rotate this, check the grid, make sure it's facing the right way. It is good. No crazy stretching. And now I'm going to put it into 0 to 1 space. Okay, cool. All right, the rest of the pieces are the pieces for the laptop. So I'm going to go in and make a selection. This is going to cause me problems. Can already see it. So I'm going to cut this. I'm going to grab this edge and I'm going to cut. And the reason why is because I know these guys are going to sew together here. And then this one's going to sew here. And notice that the UVs got skewed because they weren't the same scale. So I'm going to grab this guys. And let's see if I can sew these guys together. So grab this edges and then stitch together. Stitch together. Nope, they don't want to. So there we go. Interesting. Let's see, where are the other pieces? I can see that some of these still need to be stitched together, so I'm going to stitch together. I can try the sewing. Okay. These guys seem to do the same. I'm just going to go ahead and click on the letter G, which means they're going to... I'm just trying to avoid those little splits. Those are going to cause a lot of issues later on. Okay. Same thing here. I'm going to click on this and I'm going to cut. Then I'm going to stitch together and then stitch together and then go in and clean up. If stitch together doesn't work, try sew. Okay, now this is what you're trying to avoid. You don't want to click this and then you stitch together and it creates this pulling. You're trying to avoid any type of pulling, okay? All right, let's take a look one more time. So this was pretty simple. The UVs look okay, at least on the main areas, and we are good there. Edit, delete by type history. Okay, last one. This one's a little bit more organic, so I am going to probably just take care of this on my own. If I try doing the automatic, it's going to create some interesting things, and well, it's not too bad, but I'd rather have complete control over this. So one of them is that when you UV map something, you always want to keep the low poly version. I already deleted the history, so I don't have the low poly version. So this is going to take me a little longer than I expected, but that's okay. Let's see. So what I want to do is select this, but deselect. I just want the base right now. And I am going to look at the top view because I want to try to deselect all of these guys. All right, so I just want that. I just want the whole base. And actually, I might as well just deselect them from here. I can go to UVs. This is a cylinder, so I use cylindrical mapping. Then I'm going to go and close it and then move it aside. Now, if I take a look at the UVs or the grid, you're going to see that they are looking really bad, so I need to scale them. So I'm going to scale them until they look like squares, just like that. So now the textures are going to fall on it and it's going to look good. Now they did a good job here. I was going to do a planar map at the top and bottom, so I am happy with these results. So I'm going to leave them as is. So I'm going to move them over here. I got to figure out what the heck those are. I see. Okay, for this one, I am going to select everything but the base. And again, I can use my UV texture editor to not select everything, just this. Then I'm going to planar map it. So UVs, planar mapping options. Whoops, planar mapping options. Gonna go to, let's see, let's do Z, project. And now it looks something like that. Now it's not very good, but at least it gives me a base. I'm gonna double click on this, double click. And I also like to double click on the other side. Now be careful, it does select all the way down. So I'm gonna go ahead and deselect it here. And then I'm going to cut. Hopefully everything works. So I'm going to double click on face and move it. And now you'll notice that it didn't work. So the reason why is because at the very top, I bet it didn't cut. So I'm going to go all the way to the top. And notice that the edge ends right there. So I have to grab this edge, go across here. Gotta get really close here. I'm going to go here and here. All right, so that should complete the cut. So I'm going to cut. Now, if I double click on this, I should be able to, yes, victory, put them together. So this is red, so that means I need to flip. Let's go to transform and flip. And I'm going to try to unfold. Unfold usually works with organic. Hopefully I'm not going to have too many issues with this tool. So let's see what happens. Unfold and unfold. Okay, so that was not bad at all. You see how nice the grid looks like? Now I do have some killer seams, so I can try to sew some of it together. I usually want to make sure that I select the one that most people will see, which is probably the back. So I'm probably going to deselect the base, all of this, probably all of this as well at the top. I probably just want to attach some of it. I won't be able to attach all of it. Double check to make sure you didn't select anything else, and then we're gonna move and sew. All right, I think that's as good as it's gonna get. All right, so you see the base looks pretty good. All right, let's go ahead and rotate these. Make sure they kind of look presentable. And that is going to work for now. Okay, and finally this. This is similar to a cylinder. So I am going to UV map. I'm going to use cylinder. Now the trick though is that unlike here, this cylinder is actually going in a different direction than the projection. So what I want to do is take this and I'm going to click on the little trigger and then rotate it. So what I'm trying to do with that little red T, it just activates the rotation. And what I'm trying to do is this projection needs to match the direction of the geometry when it comes to the cylinder. Now the goal here is to try to get this over here to look like a square. So I'm going to be eyeballing both of them. I'm going to be eyeballing this and also maybe eyeballing, oh, getting close. I'm looking at both. So I'm kind of staring at the projection and this and slowly rotating it, trying to get a good angle. And I'm trying to get a square. It's getting closer. I think that's as close as I'm going to get for now. Okay, cool. It's a good place to start. Okay, now that I have that, the inside needs to be cut. So I'm going to take the inside and I'm going to cut it. And I'm going to grab the faces, move it aside, and then I'm going to flip. Flip. Okay, perfect. And I can take a look and see if unfold is going to help. So let's start collapsing these. Unfold. Whoa. Where did it go? Undo. That was terrible. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and disregard that for now. This guy is next. We could try unfolding this too. Ugh. Okay, that's not working. All right, I'm going to cut. I don't like this little square right here, so I'm going to take this. Make sure nothing crazy is happening. I'm going to cut. And then I'm going to make a selection here. Not that one. Then I'm going to stitch together. Whoops, missed one. Gee, or so. There we go. So that means that this guy is now a nice, as much of a grid as possible. So once again, I'm going to try to unfold. Oh boy. Actually, that's not too bad. Though I don't know what it, oh, there it is. Okay, so it's not too bad. It looks a little crazy. I don't think I could ever do that, but the seams in the back, everything looks like it would align relatively. It's not far from perfect, but I think it will be okay. So let me rotate this. So if I need to put some sort of text, it will fall accordingly. Not that you would probably, if you wanted to put text on this, you would have to take this to Modbox. It would be really hard to put a text in here without it getting warped like this. So this is a good example of putting it in Mudbox. All right, so now that I've UV mapped everything, again, I like to select everything and edit, delete by type history. I want to put all my assets, whoops, into the 0 to 1 spot. So, oh boy. So the desk is together, right? So I want to put all the assets together. Now, I made a I should have moved everything to the side. So I'm going to try moving things now and see what I get. So that's the lamp. And this is the, so this is pretty small asset. So it's going to be pretty small here as well. Here is, what's this? This is the laptop. So I want the laptop to have pretty good amount of space. This is the lamp. This is the inside of the lamp. We're not going to see it too much. And I'm trying to get that guy here. This is the back of the, put it here. Okay. Let's see. This is the base of the, I would like to place it here, but I might have to make it small. So I'm going to place it down here. And usually when I lay out assets together, I try to keep them together. So for example, I want the frames to be together. I want the computer to be together, you know, so on and so forth. The lamp is going to take up a pretty good amount of space. So here's the lamp. It's also really awkwardly shaped. So let's go ahead and see what we can do here. I'm going to double click here too. I'm getting closer so I can squeeze more of the information in. The more UV space it takes, the better the textures, the higher the quality of textures. And again, I'm trying to keep an eye on scale. So I just want to make sure everybody is about the same scale. So again, scale this in. This is the bottom of the lamp. And if I gave this to somebody, they're gonna figure it out pretty quickly that, you know, which asset belongs to what. So now I'm gonna put this here because I want to kind of put them all together. If there's room for growth, go ahead and add a little bit more, because I'd rather have a little bit more UV space. I'd rather take it, I always try to get as much UV space information as possible. Okay, so, and maybe just move this up a little bit just because it's really close to that edge. Okay. All right, so this is cool. We UV mapped the, oops, it's a little close too. So I'm going to move this up a little bit. Okay. So I'm trying to avoid any type of overlapping. So you can see that I UV mapped everything. Nothing's overlapping, or if there are, it's purposely done. Everything is got a nice grid texture on it. So that means that, oh boy, Q, just click select, there we go. Everything is UV mapped. All the items are UV mapped in the 0 to 1 grid for the assets, and the desk is in a 0 to 1 grid as well. So now this is ready to be textured. Let me get a closer shot here. Let's go to Maya Classic. Let me know if you have any questions. I know that was kind of fast, especially at the very end, but hopefully that was helpful. Now that we're done with UV mapping, the next step is to texture the item. All right, cool. Thanks again. I know this was a lot of information. Again, if you think this is helpful to somebody, share it with them, share it in social media, share it with your friends. That would be amazing. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And of course, you can always download this asset at academicphoenixplus.com. All right, I will see you in the next tutorial. See you then.